y'all remember a few weeks ago when I told a story about some guy who just peed in a Taco Bell sign, like just in a very broadly lit area?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember this.
So I was at the bus stop the other day, and I couldn't help but notice that the sign that was there was like it was basically on the rock, so it was like a little tiny, like pitched, like big glowing Taco Bell sign. I go there like recently. There's a big fucking pole that's been installed, and the sign is going on top of it.
This.
I want to say I want to think it's because someone was like, that dude just pissed on our sign.
This one man rebellion against the Taco Bell empire forced them to.
Somebody just sent like a cell phone picture to the CEO of Taco Bell. He's like, not on my watch.
He's like, this will not do.
Slams a single fist into his table.
The Taco Bell brand does not deserve this.
Ring the Taco Bell.
God damn it.
For whom the Taco Bell tolls.
Oh my
It's the
god.
Alamo, but in a Taco Bell.
For whom the Taco Bell tolls.
This is the day of the Tostitos crunchy wrap.
It's funny because
The shall fly.
the Taco Bell they opened across the street from my hospital. Excuse me. Is still kind of fresh, but they keep putting these like frightened children behind the counter. like these really scared, probably haven't had a job before kids. And every time I walk it, like me and my other coworker Matt, like we go in there a lot, and we always come back with some kind of story about like the first day I went in there, it was just like the second day it was open. I'm sitting down eating my food. I was like, it's fucking hot in here, and it's the dead of summer. So I walk up to the counter. I was like, it's kind of hot in here. Because someone turned the AC up, and this kid goes, oh. And then he just like left. I'm like, dude, I'm just.
You met the actual kid from The Simpsons. I don't know, sir.
I don't know how to do that.
If I had a girlfriend, she'd kill me.
It's like, it's okay, child, come back. I'm just telling you to tell someone else that it's hot. You don't have to take on the whole task by yourself. And Matt always goes over there, my coworker always goes over there and has some kind of story where he orders something and someone's just like, looks back at the menu, horrified, looks down at this screen that I'm sure has 11,000 buttons.
Oh,
that's
man.
how it was when I worked at McDonald's. They're like, oh yeah, it's right there. I'm like, that's a menu inside of a menu inside of a menu. Like, you have too many buttons.
I worked at a grocery store for a long time, for like 6 years, that hired at 16. Man.
Wow.
There's something about 16-year-old jobs.
Yeah, I appreciate people getting work experience early, but at the same time, like, we had 16-year-olds that got hired at the animal hospital I worked at before the one I'm at now, and like, you have to have a little more effort in order to work with animals, and these kids just fucking don't.
Well, I mean,
I'm like, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to pick up the shit in the cage. Can y'all just do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm Connor McGraw, and this is going to be an After Dark episode of Phantom Zone. We have a couple trailers to talk about, and probably just bullshit in general. Who else is here? Not many of us.
Yeah, it's a small crew tonight. Marlon Haro, as usual.
I am the fully alert and fully awake Hunter Davenport.
I'm a fully alert.
I did a line of cocaine before this podcast, and let's keep going before I crash.
He has the titular ice for his extremities.
Ice for his wiener.
Yeah, ice on my dick. It's all
It's all ready for
hashtag
just in case.
ice on dick.
Yeah, that's
We're gonna trend tonight.
So what are we going to talk about first?
I don't know. Should we talk about Daredevil?
Let's talk about Daredevil first.
Let's talk about all that
yeah.
shit, because there's, I mean,
Yeah.
I still haven't finished Daredevil, but I know what happens at the end. I'm not terribly concerned with spoilers, so if that gets brought up, I'm fine. But they also just announced that Punisher's coming out in January, and I'm like, why should I care?
Yeah.
Unless you have a fucking banger of an ending plan for that show, like you're just gonna leave everybody with blue balls,
right? Because I guarantee they're not already doing Jigsaw already, which is okay.
They're doing.
So we'll never get a resolution to that.
They're doing the Slavers arc from Punisher Max.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, which is like
That one
super.
where it's like a bunch of girls that get kidnapped by those those really fucking nasty Middle Eastern people.
Yes, it's like the prostitute comes to Frank. Is like, yo, I need you to kill these people. They're really bad.
Yeah, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa! I don't just kill people. Hold on.
No, Frank, that's exactly what you do. It's sort of your whole thing.
But I have standards and rules.
He's like,
no, you don't.
He's like, I need a reason. She's like, no, you don't. He's like, I know.
I'll do it for free.
Yeah, that's the one where he it's that I can't remember her name, but there's a villainess in there that like she's working with the slave ring, and I think he throws her against a bulletproof window like over and over again until she finally falls through it.
Yep. It's pretty fucking
Punisher
brutal.
Max has some of those gnarly ways people eat shit.
Yep. It's a very intense book.
Yeah. That I read pretty much all the way through. I don't think I finished it. I don't think I ever got to the end. But I read all of it in almost one sitting. Because it was years ago and I downloaded it.
From a very
in
reputable source,
a
right?
CDR file.
Yeah, from a very reputable source, right?
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking.
no way illegal whatsoever.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it wasn't the Pirate Bay or anything like that.
No. What's Pirate
Dude,
Bay?
I haven't used a BitTorrent client in so long. I don't even know where to go to get shit.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
think piracy is really all that like worth it anymore, especially when everything is like, well, at that level of piracy, because everything you need to go look for is available somewhere for free or for
Yeah.
cheap.
With like,
I mean, you can just type the name and like a file type, and it'll come up.
Dude,
Like,
I thought that I was gonna have trouble tracking down a movie for Movie Dumpster that aired on Lifetime, okay? And I Googled it once, and I was like, oh, there it is.
yeah,
like
yeah, just yeah.
Now-
MP4 stream. That's it. That's all you need. So
nowadays, like with like the ease of like importing and like, because I used to. I don't do it anymore. Get off my ass, NSA. I used to watch Kamen Rider that way, but now it's like I could just like if I wanted to, I could legit get a whole entire series delivered to my doorstep from Japan.
Yeah.
well, you don't need to worry about the NSA on that one. You need to worry about the Japanese Secret Service, if that's a thing. I don't know what they.
Well, whoever the people are that keep flagging Team 4 Stars videos.
Yeah. Oh, you mean
Right.
Toei?
It's fucking Toei. But yeah, so I also read today that Daredevil season 4 was expected to start filming in February,
Yeah.
and there was a season 4 planned out. It was talked about, it was pitched, and then apparently I also read that Marvel was the one that pulled the plug on these things.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, lots happened since that cancellation. And I got like the cancellation sucked the energy out of watching the show for me.
Yeah.
I'll get around to it, but I was like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still debating whether we should do a final review for it or not.
At this
Like-
point, it's gonna hurt too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like,
It's just gonna,
and also like,
it's gonna be
I don't
five
think we should do
guys
a review
play.
for Punisher either, or just.
I don't
Gonzalez
want to
when it
because
comes
the last
around.
2 times, the last 3 times we have gone to put time and effort and talk about these shows, they just cancel them. So
Yep.
and then so it's like, okay, you've given me no more reason to invest in these emotionally because like
Yeah.
Luke Cage and
shows,
Iron Fist are not really worth
Yeah.
going back to revisit.
no.
Daredevil is, but it's 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually like, I'm okay with Daredevil ending where it did.
Most people are, it
It's
seems.
a good place.
Yeah. Well,
It's
like,
a good place to end it.
like
but
Luke Cage and like to a lesser extent Iron Fist. It's like they didn't even
Yeah.
give these shows a chance, really.
And they both left off in places where I was like, both of these shows could be.
They
like,
both left off
million
in
times
positions where the next season would be
Yeah.
immediately intriguing. Like the cliffhangers were great, and
Yeah.
now like
Mhm.
no.
Yeah, like I want to see season 3 of Danny with magic guns, like going around the world. That sounds great.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Fucking
And I want to see
awesome.
Michael Corleone, Luke Cage.
Yeah, I'm fucking into that.
And also, the news came out that like those characters can't appear anywhere else but Netflix for the next year.
That is like
2 years.
what the
For
fuck?
2 years. Yeah. So till this time for each of the shows till this time of the year in 2020.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why they canceled them as quickly as they could. Like, that's why it was literally like a month before each of them got the axe, because they wanted to make sure that they could get them back on air as soon as possible.
I do fully believe that they're coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know in what format, because I don't think Luke Cage is going to be in his own show anymore. Not Luke Cage. Iron Fist is going to be in his own show anymore.
Yeah, I could see that, but I guess it comes down to Hulu and what Hulu wants to do.
You know what I could see happening is that they just consolidate all these people into a Defenders show where it just becomes an ensemble.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
They just call it New York.
Yeah,
Marvel's New York or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Do little mini arcs per character and then kind of rotate.
But even if like they wanted to keep Daredevil separate, they could just do Heroes for Hire and have everybody who's not Daredevil in that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a Game of Thrones approach, which is what Hunter was kind of pitching there, is the best way to do it. Because if you went through Game of Thrones with a fine-tooth comb, you could cut that show into like 3 separate shows.
Yep.
Easily. And they'd all be very different. And I feel like that if you took that approach, it would be doable, and these characters don't even have to interact all that much. But like in Game of Thrones, there are these funnel episodes where they're pushed back together, and I think that would be just as satisfying as doing a big crossover or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like the Walking Dead has a fucking Splinter show, and apparently that show is better than Walking Dead Prime.
I don't know about that.
Everything I've heard about. See, I started watching it, and the first few episodes, I absolutely hated it, and then I was told by lots of other people that like, oh no, it changed drastically after that. It's not the formulaic Walking Dead formula of like, we found a home. Oh no, walkers! Wait, people are the bad guys.
I don't know. For me, it's just like I don't want to watch a zombie show anymore. Like it like zombie movies barely motivate me anymore.
Well, you gotta have the right angle, and they just don't like it's. They've had the same angle. Although the Whisperers on The Walking Dead right now sound really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool, but like I'm like, eh.
It just took you 9 years to get to the point where it's like, oh, you're finally doing something that's not the same old shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking Daredevil. I don't know. I feel like Marvel TV is in a fucking weird place because now it basically doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s got renewed, didn't it?
On the vine.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gets fucking renewed. Who's watching Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D.? Lots of people.
I keep forgetting that it's not canceled. Like, but I feel like that's a success purely because there are people who are diehards. Like, there are people who watch everything.
People like that show.
Mm-hmm.
I also think people might stick around because they're like, ooh, maybe an Avenger will show up.
Mm-hmm.
You're cute.
Well, not like, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but like Isa, who's a friend of ours, or Isa, he fucking watches all of it. Like, he's watched every Marvel thing, period, and he reads a lot of the tie-ins, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, like, there are diehards like that who, again, they will watch and read everything that comes out if it's even closely tied to the MCU.
Yeah, they can be problematic just as they can be helpful because look at the WWE. Their entire base now is just diehards, and they're like, we'll just appeal to them. And even the diehards are like, yo, this shit sucks. Like,
I mean, it's a good explanation, though, for why AOS continues, despite the fact that, like, I'm sorry, anything that didn't have Ghost Rider has not interested me.
Nope.
Like, it's just been like, oh, that doesn't sound cool at all. They're in space. I don't care. Ghost Rider isn't there till the last episode, apparently. Like
that, and I can't look at Daisy Ridley the same anymore because she dated
Daisy Ridley. You mean Chloe Bennett?
Chloe Bennett. There we go. Daisy Ridley. Wow. Well, her character's named Daisy in the show, right?
You leave her alone, okay?
Yeah. No. Daisy's her name in the show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Chloe Bennett. 'Cause she dated Logan Paul, and. And, like, normally I would not judge someone under those certain kind of circumstances, but, like, you have to have a really, really, really low moral bar to consider dating that.
You know what the worst part about that is? She's half Asian.
Oh
like,
Yeah.
god, like what the
Yeah.
fuck?
what the
Mhm.
fuck?
It's just, yeah. Anyways, that's a dark hole that we don't want to go down.
Nope.
Yeah. But I don't know. Marvel TV's it's just in a weird, strange place, and I can't help but think that it's because they decided to link them to the movies, which is something that I liked. But at the same time, I don't know if it would have helped Daredevil or Iron Fist or Luke Cage not having them connected to the movies, but I feel like it might have done something if they were able to stand on their own and not be compared to the movies all the time.
I feel like the CW stuff, like that, a lot of that strength is like they're not connected to the dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm. Right. They don't have to deal with I can take you in without breaking you. They don't have to deal with that version of Superman. They can just cast a prominent star of MTV's Teen Wolf as Superman and then be fine. Like,
And he comes in and he shows off his amazing ass, and he's just great.
Yeah, and it's fun and it's interesting to watch.
And he smiles with his weird but perfect teeth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't have to deal with Jesse Eisenberg and
those
the Jolly
have a
Ranchers
weird
and all
hammer.
that
It's
stuff.
cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun, and so yeah, like there's something about not being tied to that, and also they don't have to be tied to the DC streaming service, at all. Like Titans is not affecting the CW's success whatsoever.
I feel like Titans, that's a different thing though. Where like, I think it's similar to Agents of Shield, where people like there's people who love Titans, like
yeah,
but like
I can tell, yeah,
but like it's like I don't think any of us care really.
I mean, I saw a headline like a half hour before we started on Bloody Disgusting that said that it describes as the teaser for the Batman episode basically treats him like Jason Voorhees, and I was like, that's kind of interesting actually.
Yeah,
I mean, we've heard that before. Before the movie Suicide Squad, and that didn't work out very well.
Wait, I don't remember ever hearing that about Suicide Squad.
No,
yeah,
the whole thing with
David
Suicide
Ayer
Squad
said it multiple
was,
times.
I remember this. They were like, this is like a brand new version of Batman, where he's like a slasher,
Yes,
like a slasher villain or something like that.
Yeah,
have these people seen slasher films?
No,
right.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right, but also like they compared, they were like, it's like a horror movie for the villains.
Well, this is also a horror movie website saying this.
I don't know, because like the thing is, like I'm really interested in like that in Rogue One. They have that awesome Darth Vader scene, and I feel like if you did that with Batman, it would work out really well.
It would. It's just we've been promised that before.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
just feel like no one has the balls to do it.
I'm still like, every time I watch that sequence from Rogue One, I'm like, that is fucking frightening.
Yeah, he's horrifying.
Like, I'm pretty sure, like I said, at some point he just catches someone's blaster bolt and then throws it back at them.
Yep.
Yeah,
he does.
And that poor fucker he holds in the ceiling while he just casually walks by him and then slices his booty.
Yeah, like people give Gareth. Is it Evans or Edwards? I always confuse those two fuckers.
One directed Godzilla and one directed The Raid.
Yeah, the general one directed Godzilla. People give him so much shit for Godzilla and even for parts of Rogue One. It's like he made that Darth Vader sequence, and even if that wasn't his, like his name is still on.
That's because once he has a hold of the monster, he knows how to use them.
He's really good at monsters.
Yeah,
funny.
His problem is he likes to wait too long to show them to you.
In Godzilla, like there's like if he were to hold on to those scenes, it would probably be really cool because like there's hints that like Godzilla like suplexes Muto at one point.
Yeah,
it's so dope.
I mean, he does a lot of shit. Like that's what I love about that movie is like when Godzilla like hits something, there's weight behind it, and like he has to move with his weight.
Well,
he can't just like do ninja shit.
Godzilla is a wide boy in these movies.
He's a big boy. He's a burly boy.
He's fucking thick. That's probably a good place to ever transition over to the Godzilla trailer that we all watched. Stuff that makes us happy, because I have nothing else to say about the Netflix stuff at the moment, just because like it's all dead in the water, and these last two seasons of stuff coming out, it's gonna be.
It's very sad, and I hope Hulu does like bring all.
Me too.
Yeah,
like just bring them all back. Change the titles if you need to, because I get it. SEO, search friendly, and whatever. Like
And that's a good thing about
What's the
comic book shows. You can do that.
Yeah, like I don't know what other names Daredevil has.
What you do is you just add like adjectives before, like the Amazing Spider-Man or something like that.
Yeah, it's what Sony did.
Yeah.
Jess is the only one that's going to be hard. I don't know. Call her. Actually, you know,
call it Alias.
Called Alias.
Yeah,
it was going to be called Alias. So just call it that.
Well, that'll probably confuse people because they'll be like, "What about that show with Jennifer Garner?"
Just do Alias Detective Agency and it'd work.
Yeah, Alias Investigation, something like that. But anyway,
Alias Inc., something like that. Power Man. It goes on and on.
Man, so there's a new Godzilla trailer, and fuck.
I have never in my life yelled at people before about Wingspan for this trailer because Mothra has
Mothra is fucking huge in this movie.
She's absolutely gorgeous too, to look at. It's amazing.
Every moment she's on screen, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Just I can't wait.
I've also never the other monsters other than Godzilla are more cartoony almost. Not in a bad way, but they're more inspired, I'd say.
They're definitely more classic, I guess.
Rodan, definitely in Rodan's face, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't immediately conjure up an image of what these monsters look like in the movie so far.
Well, there's motion posters that came out, not motion posters, 3D posters.
Okay.
The posters are definitely more evocative of the previous versions.
The posters.
That poster of Rodan, he looks a lot like the classic Rodan. Mothra looks more like the classic Mothra in the posters than she has in the trailer so far.
She does, but there's little differences, her legs and definitely her wingspan because those are some long boys.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that because that first image we see in that first trailer of her face very close up, I think that's the larva.
Yeah,
if I had to guess,
that's a Mothra larva, definitely.
Yeah,
I have the most vivid memories of the Mothra movie when I was a kid.
Oh, dude, me too. That movie is burned into my brain for some reason. I can't.
So I think it end with the Mothra larva it's fucking enveloping Godzilla in silk and shit, and he just falls in the fucking some pit.
I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Yeah,
that became somebody's fetish, by the way. That's somebody else.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
There's some sick pervert out there.
And they have a DeviantArt account, and it's just them drawing what they want to see. I'm not judging, by the way.
And then they watch people drown in mud, and we're like, yeah. Yeah, more weird kinks.
There's a whole site of people just getting covered in goo, and they're trying to claim it's not porn. So, hey, whatever.
There is an entire fetish network devoted to people stepping on things.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it exists, people want to have sex to it or masturbate to it. That's
horny is everywhere.
Yeah. everything fucks.
But this is I don't think this trailer is as good as that first one.
No, but some of the visuals are just Mothra's legs coming out of the ground. I assume that's what that is. At one point,
there is a striking usage of color, and that is really pleasing.
Yeah, there's a lot of blues, which is really nice.
It's Wingard, right?
Yeah.
No.
Who is this?
This is a guy who did Trick or Treat.
And
Krampus.
Wingard is doing Godzilla versus Kong.
Okay.
Yes. And somebody else is doing Kong 2 that I can't remember. But yeah.
But supposedly there are two more monsters in this movie that we have not seen.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
And I'm hoping one of them is Baragon.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked to at least see a tease for some kind of mecha Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because the reason is because Godzilla and King Kong are going to have something to fight at the end of that movie.
Right.
After they realize that they're on the same side.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know what that's going to be. If it's going to be a mecha thing
It's
or
gonna
it's
be
going
some.
to be
It'll be some man-made bullshit. It'll be something that we made to, as some kind of deterrent. And you'll have like
Yeah.
one human who's like, all monsters are evil, and
Mecha
like
Ghidorah. God, if they do Mecha Ghidorah, oh, that would. I'm already
that
excited
would
for
be nice.
Ghidorah, but Mecha
Mecha
Ghidorah is
Ghidorah
just,
is like kind of like Mecha Frieza, right? Like it's not a whole brand new robot. It's like it's him.
yeah.
Yeah, it's him like melded with other parts.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be the thing.
He's got like a robot
I
head.
could totally see like a group of humans being like, "Oh wait, grab that giant three-headed corpse and drag us some underground facility so we can put lasers on it."
Have I ever told you about the scrap Godzilla monster that was just a bunch of like electronics that looks like Godzilla?
No,
Okay, so like there's like
I
there's a-
am googling this.
yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but there's like Ghost Godzilla, which is like the original 1954's Godzilla skeleton. Yeah, you can Google that one. It's really funny. And then there's like one that was like a mass of like electronics or something like that. I don't remember the exact story, but it looked like I saw concept art once, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, all I'm getting is toys that are also electronic. So
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's really cool.
I
But
like Godzilla monsters are rarely as dumb as Power Rangers monsters.
well,
Yeah.
that's because I'm not gonna get into this, but like Godzilla monsters are like more. They have a focus.
Well, yeah, 'cause they're supposed to induce some kind of emotion like fear or intimidation, whereas like Power Rangers monsters are like, this monster likes to eat, so it's a pig,
Here's a skeleton and a sombrero.
and
That's the first monster they fight.
that's the first boss in the the Power Rangers Super Nintendo game, I think
Yeah.
too.
It's the first one they encounter.
There's also the two monsters that come from it's like a fucking villainous purse that becomes a monster, and then it makes like lipstick monsters.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
God, there's so many. Isn't there? I feel like there's one that's like a living piece of cooked food. I feel like that happened. Like a giant chicken leg or something. Like that feels very, very on point.
I mean, you could say anything, and I'd probably like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Totally. They totally fought it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google dumb Power Rangers costumes, and wow, look at that! First one is a man in an orange jumpsuit wearing an upside down jack-o'-lantern.
There was a Minotaur.
Oh, there's the purse. It is a literal purse with legs.
There's Cyborg. It looks like some kind of samurai Patrick Star.
This thing looks like a Mirelurk from Fallout. This thing looks like it's made of several different flutes.
God,
I don't know what that is actually.
Well,
And
there's
this
a
one
dude that's
is
literally like a pumpkin
and
mask.
this one is the hammerhead shark that stood behind Katy Perry in that one costume, in that one concert. Wow,
okay,
that's dumb
I
looking.
found one that is just a tombstone on someone's head. It is named Tombstone.
Okay.
Wait, Doomstone?
Yeah, look up Doomstone Power Rangers.
Oh, that is incredible.
There's one that is literally it's a gas station fill-up kiosk. It's a fucking. He's like got a fucking gasoline pump and everything. Like, no, he's a pump mixed with an attendant.
There's like
Jesus Christ.
you see all these like these designs, and then you look at Lord Zed, and I'm like, oh, they nailed that one.
Okay, this Doomstone shit looks like something you wear in Dark Souls.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. But Godzilla, this is kaiju. We're not really off topic.
Yeah.
Godzilla 2 looks awesome. Looks like it has way more going on. I like the first movie. Okay, but
Yeah.
the first movie on
It could be
rewatches,
half an hour shorter.
Yes, the first movie on rewatches gets a little exhausting.
The first time you see that the first movie is like the best.
Oh, it's
that
magical.
movie. Yeah.
I agree. I saw it in IMAX, and it's when he roars for the first time.
Oh man, when he gives the kiss of death, like
Yep.
Yes.
that is like the
Like-
best. Like it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Whole theater cheered.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, like on rewatch, I've always said half an hour shorter in the middle, and people
Yes,
wouldn't
definitely. I agree with that.
shit on it nearly as much. Like, people wouldn't care. they'd be like, okay, there's a half hour in here that's weak, but like it's sandwiched in between these other 2 half hours that are really, really good. If it was a TV show and that was a 1 hour pilot, it would be the fucking best pilot ever, probably.
Yeah, and like I can't get people to watch Monsters if my life depended on it. So
I actually recently watched Monsters again, and
it's
like
fucking good.
that movie is like severely underrated.
Well, it's because he offered perspective we don't really get. It's like we always get the monster attack, but we never get to hang out and see like what's happened years later.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he puts some boats in trees, that'll freak everybody out.
Yeah.
And it does, and they're all like Cthulhu squid thingamajigs.
Yeah.
And
then they made a sequel.
I was watching some Zero Punctuation because I haven't done that in a while, and he was reviewing Call of Cthulhu, and he opens it up with going, H.P. Lovecraft, America's favorite racist. But I don't know. Godzilla looks great. When's it come out?
May?
Yeah,
I want to say.
God damn it! Next
trailer.
Next fucking spring into summer is gonna be exhausted because now like the blockbuster season used to be like May through July, and then August was like, I mean these might be, but sure, have them.
May 2019. I hope it's on my birthday again because that's when
shit.
the last one was.
But now like the blockbuster season has moved up to March. It's just like that entire chunk of the year is like my wallet.
Yeah, it just doesn't end. It just keeps on going, which is crazy. Like I remember, like, was it last year when Get Out came out in like the middle of winter? I was like, "Fuck, this is insane. What's going on right now? I'm not used to spending money in January."
Well, yeah, and I think like as movies are coming out, they're trying to buck that trend. When Deadpool was coming out in February, I was like, that movie's gonna die, like on impact. And I grossly underestimated it. And there was this like crazy man in Pixels one day who was like, Deadpool's gonna make $80 million over the weekend. I was like, you're crazy. Get out of here.
And guess what?
The problem was he had an established history of saying things like, Josh Trank's Fantastic Four is better than Mad Max Fury Road, and the whole group was like, what in the fuck are you on about?
You were right to shun this man.
But I like how he finally was like, Deadpool's gonna make $80 million. The whole group is like silence, and then he just left. And I'm sure he was somewhere like, I told them, they didn't listen.
Yeah.
Oh, Marvin.
I'm still looking at Power Rangers villains, by the way, and there's one that's just a giant pair of teeth. So
that's fucking horrifying. I put two of them in.
Christ.
I put two of them in the group chat, the Google chat, and it's called Pursehead. That's what its name is.
Yeah, he's
definitely a purse.
This one is
he's
made.
Just got one eyeball.
This one is made of just lips. What the fuck?
God damn it! The Japanese, man, like. They got character design down. I gotta admit that. Like,
well, it seems like their approach is like nothing is off limits.
We need to scare the children.
And that goes like into everything. Like one of the things I like about like Gundam Wing so much is the crazy ass designs, and of course we've talked about G Gundam before. But I like the fact that like Endless Waltz rolls around, and someone was like, you know what? Heavy Arms doesn't have enough guns on him. And someone was like, he has missiles that come out of his kneecaps. So, like, I'm not hearing more guns. I'm hearing complaining. I don't know whether trailers dropped. There was a new Captain Marvel trailer.
There was. Here's the problem with it. It's been like a week, and I don't remember, like, anything about it.
No, and, like, it's not that the movie looks bad, but, like, trailers are weird, and they're not really giving me, like, I feel like they're holding too much close to chest to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to see it. But I also was I was really down on the Spider-Man Homecoming trailers because I was more or less convinced they showed me the whole film. And they kind of did, but it didn't take away the joy. The only thing I didn't really expect was the whole father twist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still bothered by the whole knowing that Tony took his suit away thing. Like, that stuff really kind of bothers me when trailers just give away so many like crucial plot points.
You mean like Doomsday?
Yeah, like Doomsday showing up in the second fucking trailer. God, I'm so.
I couldn't fucking believe that.
You just unleashed a well of anger that's been underground for a very long time. God, I'm so pissed about that fucking cave troll that they reused. Because, I'm sorry, I know Ed actually worked on the movie and he knows otherwise, but I don't care. I don't care what he tells me. They reused the fucking CG from the cave troll. I fucking guarantee it. They downloaded the Weta digital model and they just took that cave troll and they made a couple changes and they up-resed it, and like it's the same fucking design. And it's not even
Harry
like
Potter.
an interesting design. Yeah, or the fucking troll from Harry Potter. Like, god damn it, fucking make something new, or don't do fucking Doomsday.
That, if you're gonna do Doomsday, don't do it now. Jesus.
Like, I don't know. Wait a couple movies.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Until we actually like these characters.
Speaking of showing us stuff, like, I do want to say, like, we finally got a close up of the Skrulls, and everyone can kindly shut the fuck up who said they look dumb. Like, they look like Skrulls.
Right. Yeah. And also, people who say it looks too much like Piccolo from the Dragon Ball Z movie, you're wrong. I watched that and got drunk the other weekend. Or a weekend
Piccolo's
ago.
fucking white in that movie, isn't he?
Yeah. He's fucking... Okay, so this is something that I realized because I watched it while listening to a commentary that cosmonaut guy does. And what he points out is that in every frame that he's in, the entire screen looks green, because what's very clear is that they shot that movie with him looking like pale white, and then they went back and they changed it because they knew people would be angry. So he looks like he has a green filter on, but he's very obviously white because Piccolo is white, as we all know. Yeah. He looks like Nosferatu. Like, just, yeah. He just
also
looks
a better
bad.
dad than Goku.
But the Skrulls look cool. Like, they have, like, interesting designs. Like, when you see them close up, there's sort of, like, reptile-ish. I don't know. They don't... I mean, they look a lot like the reptile people from Doctor Who.
Yeah, but I actually like that design a lot in Doctor Who. I think that those effects are also always look great in that show, for those characters specifically. Holy crap! I just googled Piccolo from Dragon Ball Evolution. I haven't laid eyes on this like in a long time, and he just looks like a fucking dude. Like, there's nothing special about his design.
Mm-hmm. Like, I would rather that they had just made him James Marsden.
He looks like that's a fucking Party City Piccolo.
Mm-hmm. Like,
he looks like your standard gray.
Mm-hmm.
With pointy ears.
Like, if they had gone much simpler, and, like, I don't know, maybe he like changes into the Piccolo that we know later on, that would be something, I guess. But there's so many problems with that movie, though.
Yeah,
so many.
Akira Toriyama, I guess, was like offered to pitch in during that movie's production, and the execs were like, "Nah, we got it. We can do it. We don't need you." Mm-hmm. And he was apparently very hurt by this. And then when he left the theater, he was even more hurt.
Yeah, I imagine he really, really should be. Like, that movie killed some of those actors' careers. Like, some of those people haven't been.
I haven't seen Justin Chatwin. You know what's funny is that I didn't see Justin Chatwin or Emmy Rossum again until Shameless, and they were both on that show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I think that they've both done. Like, that's been their life ship, I guess, their fucking like lifeboat or whatever, to get them out of there, because jeez, it's just a really bad movie.
And Chow Yun-Fat was going to leave that unscathed anyway, because he's Chow Yun-Fat.
Right. Well, any actor who has a big following in another country, they don't really need to worry about it.
Yeah.
They can just go back to their country and still do work there.
What's funny is
that's
that
why Jackie Chan is fine.
Yeah, it's funny is that I can't believe that that French fan film I saw captured a Dragon Ball Z better than Hollywood can.
Mm-hmm.
And they completely reimagined lots of like visual aesthetics. Like, they changed Cell's design to make him more bug-like and scary looking. And Super Saiyan is like, you get your eyes turn white and your hair turns into kind of this white, kind of fiery texture.
Oh, they got Devil Trigger.
Yeah, basically.
Damn. All right, cool.
Yeah, no, that film is awesome. It takes place in Trunks' timeline after everyone's been killed. And they paint Cell like a horror villain. Like he's every time he's there, there's just ominous music. And it's in most points he's obscured by rain. And then him and Trunks have this like ridiculous fight in some blown up city, and it looks very high budget, and it's made for like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Yeah,
that is the second best fan film I've seen outside of Don't Go Hiking Alone.
Yeah.
But
the world is weird.
But Captain Marvel, I don't know. I don't have anything to say about this because, like you said,
we're all gonna see it.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, they are. There certainly are. There isn't a Marvel movie that's come out that I've been like pass.
To be fair, I don't think this is for us. Like they know they have our money already. This is for the people who aren't already in, I guess.
Once Infinity War came out, I was like, I don't even need to see trailers anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I guess let's look at it from the perspective, I guess, of people who are normies. I guess I don't want to say normies.
Other people, the filthy casuals.
Right. The people who don't like fucking breathe this shit like we do. Like, I guess from that point of view, it's not a bad trailer. But I don't know, like maybe I don't have enough women in my life in general, but I don't know what their response is to this. Like, or do they see this and they get excited? Because I feel like that's the audience that you should want to get super excited for this, in the same way that they got excited for Wonder Woman. And I'm not feeling that in the same way. I don't know. Maybe you guys have experienced differently.
I think it's because, for me anyway, like I've seen a lot of positivity, but like I could maybe put the theory out that since Captain Marvel is not exactly a high-profile character, people are probably having Ant-Man hesitation, where they're like, "Who the fuck is that? Yeah. Why should I care?" But I think the difference is Ant-Man had like Paul Rudd, who has kind of marketability to him, and Brie Larson hasn't had like a main she hasn't headlined a movie yet, has she? Or at least something this big.
Nothing of this scale. That's true. Like she hasn't had sort of an in between sized film, I guess. And I think that would help quite a bit, because even Chadwick Boseman, he was in fucking 42 and that James Brown.
I can't believe he's fucking in his 40s.
It's crazy.
Cannot believe that.
Wait, what?
He's Chadwick Boseman is 41.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's
insane. It's like he's on screen with Michael B. Jordan, and like you see him, like maybe he's 5 years older.
Yeah, he looks a little older than Michael B. Jordan, not 20 years older than Michael B. Jordan.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
40. Oh my god, he's 40 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's 41 years old. What the fuck?
Yep. It is bonkers.
But that's really all I have to say about Captain Marvel. I don't want to talk about Endgame yet without the full crew here, because I'm sure people have opinions and theories and thoughts and feelings in general. But the Endgame trailer is out, and they did the right thing, I would suppose, and they didn't show us too much.
I think.
Yeah, I mean,
did I? Okay, I can't remember if I called this title or not.
Well, it's many people did. Yeah, we all have. Yeah. We said one because they were like the Russo said, yeah, it's been said in previous movies, and the only thing I could think of, I was like, Tony says Endgame in Ultron, and Strange says Endgame in Infinity War, so it's got to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was the front runner, and Time Runs Out was also the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a good title. I like this title.
Yeah, and I also. Yeah. I think the title alone means that there's going to be no additional villains, because you really shouldn't. I don't think you should pivot away from Thanos. These people need to beat him.
Yeah. And I do want to point out that I'm digging the visuals, because it doesn't look the same as Infinity War. And that's something that I don't think the Russo brothers get enough credit for. The Marvel in general gets lumped in as like, oh, all their movies look exactly the same, and visually they're just not distinct. I don't think that's true.
It's not true.
I think that if you compare Winter Soldier to Infinity War, they look drastically different.
Winter Soldier's filmed like a fucking James Bond movie.
Scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess again, like if you're looking at it gradually, Winter Soldier doesn't look that different from Civil War, but it looks drastically different.
But if you compare like something that's like on the one end of the spectrum, which is like Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok, and you bring it all the way over to Winter Soldier, like there's complete visual inconsistencies. Like Winter Soldier has very washed out colors.
I do think the Nick Fury, the car chase scene with Nick Fury and the SUV.
Yeah,
I think that is like the most distinct thing from that movie. Like that, I was like, oh, this is like completely different.
Yeah, it is. But I think when people talk about visual, when they talk about the movies not being visually distinct, they're saying Ant-Man and Winter Soldier look the same, or they're saying Ant-Man and Iron Man and Age of Ultron.
I don't know if I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I guess, like there's a certain visual style that is in common, but here's the difference between movies and comic books. Comic books, each artist chooses the style, and you do not want all comic books to look the same. Otherwise, nobody will read them, because what's the point?
Yeah.
There's no difference if they all look exactly the same. I think that's why there have been periods of time where DC comics, people just stopped reading them because the art wasn't there at all, because it all looked the same. And the same thing has happened to Marvel in the past. In movies, you kind of do have to have a certain visual language that goes through all the movies. I don't mind that Suicide Squad looks a lot like Man of Steel and it looks a lot like BVS, because visually it makes sense that they should all look similar. Yeah. They should all have something in common visually. So the Marvel movies having a similar visual style isn't a bad thing. It's if they all look exactly the same, if they all look like Ant-Man, then that would be a problem, but they don't. And I say Ant-Man just because visually that movie has moments where it's kind of just they did the job. That was competent. Yeah. That was fine. It wasn't above and beyond in any way, but it wasn't terrible. It was visually, it was, up to snuff, up to standards, I guess.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know what else happened this week.
I'm sure there was other stuff. That's the thing. There hasn't been just a lot of news lately. December is kind of a down time for news.
We're supposed to have a Spider-Man trailer soon.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's going to ignore the events of Avengers. I'm like, of course it is. It's a Sony movie.
It's also, I think, if they did another goddamn Infinity War, something within the same tone as Infinity War, people would just be depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And also, I guess they just want it to be its own thing, which is fine.
I heard that this is supposedly, going to, start in motion what the next big thing for the Marvel Universe is.
Yeah, Kevin Feige says it is the new, going to the next phase, it's the first step.
Yeah.
It's the first big step.
So...
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Interesting to see what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I think Feige sees Spider-Man as someone as important as Tony Stark. The problem is, now that Venom is a fucking global success, that hurt to say.
I honestly cannot imagine a world in which Disney is just not here's $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I just saw a headline a little while ago. We're recording this. Says Amy Pascal still wants to do Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Which is could you guys be more mortally committed to an idea that didn't fucking work the last time?
I mean,
and the only reason it's working now is because you had someone else step in and give you some of this.
Is she doing this out of spite, you think?
Maybe. I'm not going to look this up, but I probably will. I guarantee she's also committed to doing a Slender Man 2, which would be a bad idea, as we discussed on this show before. I don't know. Amy Pascal, she has bad ideas in general. I don't understand
why she is so gung-ho on her ideas.
I guess I don't know. And here's the thing. Outside of superhero stuff and the stuff that we like, she's a competent person. She's produced good movies. It's just big spectacle stuff where she's colorblind, it seems.
It seems like animation stuff she gets. It's not I don't know if that's her division.
I was apparently there's a valley of quality difference between Spider-Verse and Venom. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Look at their desperate attempts to either start a franchise or kickstart one. Like, look at Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And I've spoken
And that was her too.
in length about how I feel about that movie. I saw it on a very, very bad day. However, all the press around it, total bullshit. Everything around that movie is just screams of incompetency and cashing in. Like, it doesn't seem like it was a sincere effort. It seemed like it was done to generate buzz, and then when the buzz didn't really work the way they wanted to, they tried blowing it back on the audience, and the audience was like, "Well, fuck you."
To me, it just seems like Amy Pascal is a person who just like who is like somewhat good at her job. When it comes to like this stuff, she has no idea what she's doing.
Maybe she's like George Lucas and doesn't have people telling her no.
Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, that's the thing. She's in it's weird. Her job, she's in a slightly less powerful job, but she still has like a controlling bid in Sony. And my understanding is that like she's someone who her hands are on every single movie that comes out that's like this huge and big. And again, as far as I can tell, these aren't the kinds of movies that she should be producing.
Clearly,
she produced The Post last year, and that's a fine movie. That's a pretty good movie. And if that's hers, then great. She's clearly good at some things.
Clearly, she makes this company money.
Yes.
Like, yeah, enough to not get the film sector. Is the American film section or the general film section?
It's the general. She's one of the controlling people in Sony Film America. I guess. And Sony Film America is pretty independent because, in terms of just like how much they own and how many properties they own, they're technically bigger than Sony's film division in Japan.
Yeah. But Sony's film division in America is the one that was almost like shut down because it just wasn't producing acceptable results.
Yeah, it just wasn't doing what they needed to do, and they had to like fucking hold a summit to be like, what are we going to do? Are we going to continue even being a movie studio? Are we going to sell off all our assets? And they came out of it with the plan to produce XYZ movies, Ghostbusters, a new Spider-Man with Marvel, and some other stuff that I'm forgetting. And most of that stuff that they announced hasn't worked out, surprisingly.
Well, Venom worked out, but that was like, I don't know. I
think Venom worked just like in spite of itself.
Venom worked on the name Venom alone, I think.
I mean, here's the thing. It's a joke, my theory, that she was busy on Slender Man, so she couldn't make Venom bad. But I feel part of that feels true. Part of that feels like she was distracted on something else, because those two movies are fairly similar. Not completely similar, but they're fairly similar money-wise. Slender Man was actually a pretty expensive movie for what it was.
What?
Yeah, I guess. It seems like it, because I'm reading between the lines here, but I'm pretty sure they reshot the whole thing. I'm pretty sure they shot that movie twice. I'm just, again, reading between the lines. But, yeah, like $50 million. $50 million for a Slender Man movie. Why? Why did that movie cost $50 million?
Wait. I'm seeing a budget of 10 to 28 million, and it made 51 million.
Oh, is that what it says? Okay, no, I got that wrong.
Yeah.
Still.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, but still, how did you go from 10 to 28 million? Like, that's a pretty...
Yeah.
Here's my theory. Amy blew half the budget on Subway.
Probably. In order to throw sandwiches.
It fills a vault with sandwiches.
Built a catapult on set.
Yeah, like, she should stop being the head of Sony. They should hire somebody who's good at their job. Like Bob Iger, who's trying to retire here real soon.
Bob Iger, like, so, man, he did, okay, I'm not going to talk shit on Bob Iger because he'll probably kill me. Like, I'm not convinced that Bob Iger is not like a mafia guy, but like
probably
he would at least be better than Amy Pascal.
Did I tell you the story about
a lot of people would be?
Did I ever tell us like the quick story about how that wrestling company in Japan, I really like Dragon Gate, like may have had Yakuza affiliations, and then there's some like spooky shit that happens in there.
Yeah, like people just disappear.
Well, like they're not disappeared, never seen again, but like there was a group in 2006 that were like the biggest heels in the company. They were called Agan Isu, and like they were the hottest thing ever. And then like a TV taping opens up, and someone comes out and goes like, "So Agan Isu will never be on TV ever again, and we're moving on. Thanks," and just left. And everyone was like, "What?"
Dude, that's terrifying, dude.
And there was a guy who worked there for a long time. His name was Magnum Tokyo, and he's been around since WCW. And he was one of their students who like was trained by Ultimate Dragon and like basically helped kickstart this company. He's around forever, and then like sustained an eye injury and went out. But then went out for like everyone's like, "Where's Magnum Tokyo?" And people were like, "I don't fucking know." And then eventually they're like, "Oh yeah, he's gone from the company." They're like, "What happened?" He goes, "He was money laundering."
Oh, what?
Okay. Cut to him being buried in a cornfield like Joe Pesci.
And then like he didn't materialize again after that for a few years, where he showed up in a fucking advertisement in Japan. Like I don't think he's wrestled ever again.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because he probably was like threatened to be like,
yeah, and their former president.
Well, Jared Leto killed him.
Yeah,
that's a.
Their former president looks like he could murder me too. Like he's this very scary looking guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised though if he did have like Yakuza connection.
Well, there was also a news story that broke about they have it's not really a news story, but it's a very strong rumor that they have a store/gym in Japan called Mid Breath, and allegedly it is a front for steroid distribution.
Yeah, probably.
Sounds legit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vince didn't have one of those.
Well, first of all, Vince doesn't need to distribute it. He probably has like a stockpile for years. That's why he's still walking.
Well, he has a pump like Bane. He has like a.
Just imagine Vince McMahon walking around backstage with Bane's mask.
You're fired.
Yes.
He's coming back to TV next week, and
why?
Here's the thing about that company. I want to talk about this for a minute because like this is the rare time where like wrestling news is very amusing. Their Raw ratings have been like dog shit for like 4 weeks straight, like absolute, like consistently dropping.
I really wonder why.
Yeah, and like I guess like it got to the point where they decided to address it on air, and then that show lost ratings.
Wow.
They're like, yo, this show sucks now.
Wait, is SmackDown still doing better than Raw?
SmackDown. Okay, here's the thing, and like Dave Meltzer, who's like the longest tenured wrestling journalist currently going, says like the SmackDown rating is usually always boosted or damaged by the Raw rating, which is not fair to that crew. Because if Raw is bad, people don't want to turn into SmackDown because they're just beat up. But if it's good, they'll ride that high into SmackDown. But mostly, like if you step out from like numbers and stuff, SmackDown's considered to be the way better product because for some reason Vince feels he has to wrap his hands around all of Raw and control every aspect of it. Whereas as SmackDown goes, he's kind of like, do what you want, and I'll say yes or no on everything when the script pass comes across my desk. But like, there's stories that come out where Raw is about to start. It's like an hour away, and they're rewriting the show because Vince did a fucking Vince thing.
So you're saying that a very powerful businessman ruins artistic products that he creates?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Never heard that story before. Never
Not
heard that
once.
tale.
It never happens.
Has Vince ever thrown a sandwich? Just ask me.
Has Vince ever told anybody that they can't have a second sandwich or a second Coca-Cola?
I mean, maybe. He does have weird quirks I heard about. Like, someone said he's such a neat freak and a germaphobe that if there's like a bowl of candy nearby and you reach in and grab one, you are to reach in, grab it with, say, your left hand, place it in your right hand, open it with your left hand, and eat it with your right hand, and then you can only get candy again with the left hand.
Okay.
Okay, is he even real? Is he like a cartoon character?
And that apparently he nixed like a huge angle that was proposed for Shawn Michaels because his steak wasn't cooked the right, like his steak wasn't cooked right.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He's such a weird man.
It's fucking insane.
he eats his burritos unwrapped. He like eats them with a fork, which is something that.
Are you fucking serious about this shit? Are you messing?
Yes, he unwraps his burritos and then he covers them in ketchup. Apparently,
Oh,
I heard this on
eats
TCB.
like Donald Trump.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Like him, Ike, and Trump are all friends, which is something that I just now remembered.
Yeah,
and it makes so much sense.
I can't believe that Trump in 2008, I think, was like booked as the ultimate babyface against Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. Like, and they had that fucking Battle of the Billionaires bullshit.
Bobby Lashley
with the most soft-spoken, non-charismatic man ever in Trump's corner. Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley sounds like here's the thing. If you saw him, you go, that man could kill me with his thumbs. But then he speaks up, and you're like, oh, he's a baby.
He's adorable.
He came out one day on SmackDown to challenge like Fit Finley or something. And he's like, I'll tell you what, Fit Finley. He's like, you like to fight? Well, I say you're a bastard. Like in that tone of voice.
You're a bastard.
You're a bastard. And the crowd was like, oh, what? Oh, that's what he sounds like? Oh, never mind.
Why is Finley going to beat up this child?
This is also when Finley was running around with fucking Hornswoggle as his partner in crime.
God.
He effectively had a child.
Remember? Okay, do you remember that weird storyline with JBL, Vince, and Hornswoggle?
Where Vince was JBL, where Vince was JBL's father. Vince was Hornswoggle's father?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Wait, what?
Okay, so all right. I would gladly break down bad wrestling angles for you. They had a guy in that company named Mr. Kennedy. His gimmick name was Ken Kennedy. He was really good in the microphone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so there was an angle pitched that he would be Vince McMahon's bastard son because Vince's middle name is Kennedy. Blah blah blah. And it was supposed to be basically like the way to get this dude way over as a star and establish someone that you can make money off of. So this is about to happen, and I think Ken Kennedy either got snagged for a steroid charge and failed the wellness policy, or it's when he injured Randy Orton. I can't remember which one. No, the one when he injured Randy Orton, he was fired the next day. This was the steroid thing. And so he comes out on TV when this whole thing starts, and he's like, Vince, I could be your son. He's like, your middle name's Kennedy, my last name's Kennedy. And Vince is like, get out of here, you're crazy, man. You're suspended. And Kennedy's off TV for 60 days. And his push is completely deflated. So then in Vince's, his all-knowing, brilliance, decides to pivot it over to Hornswoggle because midgets are funny.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And this went on for months.
And then JBL
it just culminates in John Bradshaw Layfield, who's like a 6 foot tall, like he's built like a fucking refrigerator. Former football player who beats the fuck out of everybody in that company. He is a notorious bully. He beats the living snot out of this dude who's 1.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wow.
JBL did a lot of weird shit. Do you remember the weird like the drug thing where he fights an inflatable dinosaur?
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. That was an episode of SmackDown where they attempted to tranquilize the Big Show with a dart gun. I'm not making that up. And they accidentally hit JBL in the butt with it, and he spends the entire episode hallucinating.
He says this, and I quote, and it still makes us this day. He goes, "Put up your dukes, lizard."
I don't remember that.
The best.
Paul Walker shows up.
Oh man, that's the thing. When WWE steps into comedy, it's fucking fantastic. When they write comedy, it's the worst shit ever. And
they don't understand.
They don't understand comedy. Like one of the funniest things I've ever heard said was, I think, like it was came from Triple H, who is a habitual comedic genius. Like it was after Edge's first title run, and his first title run was very short. But he was there to establish him as like a new guy for the company. And like there's like they're promoing back and forth, and Edge is like, he's like, "Don't you forget I was a WWE champion?" And Triple H goes, "Yeah, I know, but I took a nap for 20 minutes and I missed the whole thing."
I feel like that is that's true company wide though, because like New Day just seems to be like
okay. New Day was supposed to be how Vince feels about black people, which is they're a bunch of dancing clowns that he can have them go out and shuck jive for him on TV so he can laugh at them. And then like they just basically took control of it, and now they're just like 3 hyper nerds who come out and dress like Dragon Ball Z and throw pancakes at people. It's very confusing.
Well, that's just them in real life, apparently.
Who are friends with like Greg Miller?
Yeah.
We're all serious gamers as well, but like also Daniel Bryan. Like Daniel Bryan wasn't supposed to be a success. God, they tried to destroy him on several occasions, and the audience wouldn't have any of it.
Isn't his new thing is like he's an annoying vegan?
He's always been a vegan, but like they fall back on that because like Vince is a fucking ferocious meat eater, so he thinks vegans are stupid. So like if you're vegan, you're a bad guy in the company. Like his view of good and bad is so binary that it makes everyone so uninteresting. But it's also the point where like one person is booked as a babyface 1 week, and then the next week they're booked as a heel for 2 weeks, and they're back as a babyface the 4th week, and you're like, what is this character? Like, you're not telling me anything about them. They're just acting certain ways.
Yeah, like...
And I've been saying for a long time, like, there's wells of fiction these people can go to get, like, some source of inspiration, but they keep hiring these failed reality TV writers and, like, people who've, you know, they don't understand how this product works and they're not fans of it, so they keep writing this, like, really stupid, over-traumatized nonsense, and it tanks the ratings.
Yep. And then they're like, I don't know why it's not working.
And then when people on Twitter are like, hey, like, your product's kind of bad, like, maybe you should change something. And then Road Dogg comes out and goes, well, you don't know what you're talking about because you've never been in a ring before. And then just like...
Okay, Road Dogg.
Yeah.
Okay, Road Dogg. Like, that's
my favorite like bad wrestler comeback is when they tell someone like, well, you can't criticize what we do until you bump in a ring yourself. It's like, oh really? I guess so. So critics all have to have made a movie before they're allowed to critique it, right?
Yeah.
And like you have to have created something of which the thing that you're supposed to have an opinion on. You can't just have an opinion.
Roger Ebert did that, and then that worked out so great.
Yeah,
for him.
and then I saw someone. His name's Wade Keller. He used to be a writer for WWE, and he's very insightful in the whole process. He's like, ratings are important. He's like, because ratings will. It's like they're like a canary in a coal mine. He's like, they're going to tell you if you're in danger or if you're not in danger. And he said like, oh shit, where's I going with this? And it's gone. Son of a bitch.
Oh, Connor's brain died.
Yeah, mid-sentence. I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, that's wrestling talk. What's mostly it's kind of TV talks at this point because I don't know what the fuck's happening to that company. Part of me is like, just die.
I'm like, I want to like get the network for like a week so I can watch like old wrestling stuff, and I'm like, I could probably just find all that online somewhere.
Some of the best stuff on the network they produce is like story time, which is they do. Arlen, you would actually love these. They take someone telling a road story of whatever, and they animate it with exaggerated details. And a lot of these stories are hysterical. I guess one story involved is Charlotte Flair talking about her dad, Ric Flair. He said they were trying to enter a building one day, like through the parking lot. And he pulls up to the arena, and the guy's like, have your name, please? And he's like, he pulls down his glasses. She basically takes to the point. She says, this is a point in my dad's career when everyone knew who Ric Flair was. He was a fucking celebrity. And he said he takes off his sunglasses, and he goes, are you kidding me? And he goes, yeah, I need your name, please. And they have this back and forth for a while. And the guy goes, can you please spell your name? And Ric Flair goes, Famous, and drives through the barricade into the parking lot.
Ric Flair is one of my favorites.
And then Corey Graves told a story about how he went to he was doing a press tour in Japan, and he was being like kind of like carted around the city by these like sponsors, basically. Like when wrestlers come over, they're like, "Hey, we'll hang out with you. We'll be your guide. We'll pay for your food. Blah blah blah. All this other stuff." And he basically hadn't slept, and then goes and hangs out with these guys, and they get him plastered on sake. And then they're like, hey, eat this snail. And he goes, sure. And he's had so much sake, he just swallows the fucking snail. The next day, he wakes up hungover as all fuck and feeling sick because he ate a whole snail. And so he's just feeling like crap. And he's like, all right, we got to go. We're going to go to the sumo match. And he's like, ugh. So they go to the sumo match. They're sitting there. It's hot in there. And then they go to eat with the sumo wrestlers. And they hand him a big bowl of rice and milk.
What?
And he just gets sick immediately. And he said basically as soon as it happened, he said a very large man across from him went, ha ha ha, green.
Oh boy.
You want to wrap on that?
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap.
Yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah.
Nice little bullshit episode. Everyone likes our off-topic stuff anyway. So I've been Connor McGraw. We just banged out the episode for The Holiday Switch, which is a deplorable Lifetime movie that Julie, Joe's wife, saw one day and decided that she needed to retain the memory of this movie, likely to use for an inevitable podcast. And lo and behold, she was the guest in the show. I've known about her for a long time and I haven't actually heard her voice, so that was weird. But she's wonderful and funny. So there's that. And then, like I said, we're gonna have a whole new set of stuff coming out next year. New website, a bunch of new stuff, possibly blogs, reviews, stuff like that. So
nice. Lost Horror podcast. It's out. It's happening. And I think the most recent episode went up. I hope it did. Actually, I remember. Yeah, it did go up. So yeah, that's a thing. Monster Mash podcast with me and Hunter once a month.
Yeah, go check it out.
So look forward to that. Yeah.
Okay, so you can go not follow me on social media. Don't. Check out Lost Hero Games. I'm starting this new monthly thing where I'm going to be talking about retro games. My first article was about Earthbound, so go check that out. LostHero.com. Check the Lost Hero Games podcast. Me, Emmett, and Al. We talk about news and what we're playing and a bunch of cool stuff. And like Arlen said, Monster Mash podcast. Go check that out.
Yep.
so many shows.
Yeah. And something I think we're gonna push for more next year is guys, tell us what you think of the show. People who are listening out there, like, we don't hear a lot from people who listen. I mean, today is the first time I really heard anything from anybody. So if you listen to the show on any of the different places it's available, like, let us know what you think.
Yeah, and like the big thing, and like you'll hear this in any podcast, like if you want to support the show in any which way, if you like us, if you give us a 5-star review in iTunes, it does help boost the show so it gets more eyeballs on it. Even if you feel like it's 3 stars, leave a comment saying like whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
Tell me
leave a 5-star review and then leave a recipe for brownies. I don't care.
Yeah, tell me.
Right.
Tell us to die. Just do what you need to do.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But that helps us out a lot,
whatever.
and we have lots of different shows. So I guess like if a bunch of got 5-star reviews at once, it would probably help boost our profile a little bit. So there's that.
Also, if you say something really mean, just don't tell me you did it, and I won't read it.
Yeah, don't do it in your real name. Also, that helps.
Oh yeah, no, I'll find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hunt you down.
All 1-star reviews. I'm gonna show up to your house.
Yeah. It'll be like Jay and Silent Bob.
We take this deathly seriously.
I do.
Yeah. And as we said on another show, 5-star reviews, we will read them on the show. Exception being pornographic material.
Yeah, please don't leave erotic fiction.
But Eric will read.
I would say the only person who wants it is
segment.
Erik. So
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I think that's a wrap.
good enough to go on. So bye everybody, and
Bye.
Bye. Fuck X-Men Apocalypse. That's it. Feel fat.
That's the one.